The Show presents
Talking Nerdy
September edition
with your hosts, Pablo Gunner
The Ambassador,
and we are here to talk nerdy to you about all the nerdy stuff that we did and came out for the month of September. Starting off, our grade scale for a lot of this stuff, because it is streaming now, everything's streaming now, is going to be must stream. Unless it's like a movie, it'll be a buy. And then we're going to have check it out. Yeah, check it out.
Worth watching.
Rent or something like that.
That's what we kind of
wait for stream. With. And then it's like wait for stream, I guess.
Yeah, we replaced the rent with check it out.
Yeah, and then pass. Pass is pass. That's as worse. Yep. That's as bad as it gets. So for this month, this is what we're covering. We're going to be covering the Rings of Power, Season 2, Episodes 4 through 7. And then we'll talk about merch, do some shout-outs, and talk about our merch coming out next month.
And let you know about our charity for the month of October.
Let's get started with, I think, the biggest contested thing right now in nerddom, which is the Rings of Power.
Yeah, the latest episode was awful.
No, the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're going to do a battle, you need to clearly define what's happening. Like, they were trying to get all the nostalgia at Helm's Deep without any of the work. Because Helm's Deep, if you look at it, they had, alright, if they get in through here, we'll go there, and then we're screwed. It was like their plan.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best they could do. And it was smart of them to go to Helm's Deep because then they could bottleneck the army so they go through. This one doesn't really do any of that. And then you want to stretch the truth where you can, but not overly. Damming the river, that was ridiculous. Like, rocks don't work that way. And on top of that, if you dam the river, no one's getting very far in the battlefield. Enemy or defenders. They're just not going. The offense and the defense aren't going to be moving very fast because that was a big river.
Right.
And it wouldn't just be a little bit of mud.
Mm-hmm.
You would have people potentially dying trying to cross.
Yeah, I was like, how did the water go away so fast? Like, unless they're in a place, unless they managed a way to vent it out.
Yeah. Plus,
like, where's the water stay going? There for a while, and then and if it took time, if it took place over time, I'd be like, okay, over time it'll go away, but it's not gonna go instantaneously.
And you have all these like people fighting, but you don't know what's actually going on. There's still no clear objectives with just about everyone. They're just doing whatever they feel like. There was only two parties that really had a clear objective of what they wanted to do. The Orcs and Elrond.
Mm-hmm.
They both wanted to get to Eragon and get Sauron.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why they were even
fighting
if that's what their goal was.
If they all had the same goal.
It's really stupid. But then with Helm's Deep, they also just used stuff where you could clearly see what the point of it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like that wall thingy made no sense whatsoever. It's like, okay, is there spikes coming out to kind of put, like, how is this going to get rid of the wall? I think they would have been better off sticking with catapults. Because catapults are entertaining to watch, but they're also very simple, and you know exactly what they're going to do, and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You throw enough shit at something, it will break.
Yeah.
Works well. It's disappointing because it should have been better than Helm's Deep. The budget for this battle was way, way, way higher than the Peter Jackson's Helm's Deep, but that's how I feel most of Rings of Power is they're not, like the writing and the directing, they're not confident of their own, and so they're always trying to borrow elements from the Peter Jackson movies.
Right.
Which, you can do that, but you need to make it work. If you're just taking a premise and kind of forcing it in there and then it doesn't feel natural, then you're not really doing anything good.
Right. So I disagree. I think this is the best episode of the season so far. I was surprised this wasn't the season finale because it was so epic. Now, I'm not saying I disagree with everything that you've said after that, because you are correct. So going back to like episode 4 and leading up to this point, to me, I like this show, and I think it's really strong in the strong moments. I think like when this show hits those great marks, like it slaps hard, right? Like it is phenomenal. Like when they had that one creature in the water, like that was so cool. The Ents, that was awesome. Like that was such an awesome moment. That too was great. But then when you piece it all together, you go, but what did it matter in the large scheme? And it jumps all over the place. That's the thing, is it jumps all over the place, and you go, yeah, but how does this help the story move along? And what is, like, why does, like, it was cool, like, that, the Numenor, that, I know that's lends to the story, and that's going to work great. I know that's going to be like, oh, now people have restored their faith in their queen, and that's great for that. But, like, the Ents thing, I was like, that was cool.
But she's going to get overthrown again.
But what is going to... Right,
because what's going to happen is...
he's going to get a ring.
They already messed up Sauron, Numenor. Like, Numenor actually goes in and captures Sauron and brings him as a hostage to Numenor. But he somehow manages to escape. But then after that, Numenor just doesn't care about Middle-earth. They decide they want the power of the gods, and they actually go and try to invade Valinor, the land of the gods, and get their asses wiped.
Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, and to me, all the Numenor stuff, I love that stuff. That stuff to me is the most interesting and the most well done stuff. I also feel like the Anatar, I want to say it with an accent, Anatar, and Region. That's the other thing. Oh my god, I don't know what it is about these words in Lord of the Rings, but I just love the way they feel in my mouth, you know? I don't know what it is. It just feels good. Like saying those things, like if you just say them regular, like Anatar or Region, you know, it sounds lame, but you say it with the accent, oh, and it just feels so much better. But that was so good, like the building the whole thing, like the Great Deceiver, having him, like tricking him into building the rings for the dwarves, and then the dwarf story's been pretty good too, but it's not...
But the dwarf doesn't make any sense, the dwarf story, because the rings don't have an evil influence on the dwarfs. The dwarfs were actually designed to resist any evil influence, especially like Morgoth. Like the only thing it does is greed. And they keep trying to like treat it like it's the One Ring, when it's not. The dwarves are not affected by it in any evil ways. They're similar to elves, except for dwarves are even a little bit more resistant to evil than the elves are, just because their creator made them that way to protect them from Morgoth.
Okay.
And so that doesn't really make sense for it to do that. I think they could have done a lot better with the rings, because if you're going to do all these rings, make them different. If they're all like pseudo ring, the One Ring of Power, it really bores things quite a bit. Like the elvish rings kind of give them more control over nature, but it doesn't have to be wielded by an elf, because Gandalf wields one in the movies. He has one of the rings. If you would have kept more to what they were meant to be, it would have been easier. But my biggest issue was Tom Bombadil.
Oh yeah.
Even if you just go off of the novels, they actually run into him before leaving the Shire, Frodo and Sam, Merry and Pippin. And so when they're actually at the Council of Elrond, they're like, hey, we know about this Tom Bombadil guy. He can resist the ring. Why don't we give it to him? Elrond's like, well, yeah, he can resist the ring, but there's a few issues there. One is he only has power in his domain, which is like by the Shire.
Mm-hmm.
If he leaves there, he loses power. And then also, the biggest problem is he has 0 effect on the ring, so he would lose it. It's like, okay, not a good fit. But you take those characteristics from the books and try to put them to this guy, nothing adds up. Like, he's not even in his domain right now. He's way east, and he doesn't go east. He stays in one area.
Yeah, to me, it just feels disjointed, right? Like overall, the season feels disjointed. I'm curious to see like what the finale's going to be and how that's going to affect the overall season, because right now, if it doesn't bring the pieces together, then it's just going to feel like a messy puzzle, where you're like, none of these pieces really fit together all very well. Like they kind of feel like mashed at this point,
Yeah, they're trying to do a Game of Thrones, but not succeeding. Because Game of Thrones in the earlier seasons, even though Daenerys was way off, you still kind of saw connections between the two.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that probably helped the most was having that assassination attempt go through. Because you knew that came from King's Landing, you saw the discussion of it, and you saw the result, and you saw the result carry over to there. So even though they didn't put those characters together, you knew they were like directly affecting each other. If you don't tie something in with everyone, it doesn't work. You also, like, one of the tough things is, realistically, not everyone would be calling Mordor yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only people who call it Mordor haven't really had any contact with anyone. So where would they get the name Mordor from if no one knows about it yet? Maybe after Fall of Rhaegon and the elves know, and then the dwarves would hear it from the chitter chatter, and then they would all know it's Mordor. Sure. But like, calling it Mordor right now doesn't make sense. You'd still call it like the Southernlands, because you don't know better until someone corrects you. Until you're corrected, you're going to call it what you know it to be called.
Right. So, so what would you say overall so far, right? Because we still have one more episode.
Pass so far.
Okay. For me, I'm honestly split, because I did that same thing where I go, is this better than Game of Thrones? The original Game of Thrones? No. And I'm like, is it better than House of the Dragon? And I'm like, I don't think it's like, I don't know if it's on par, or like maybe House of Dragon is a little bit better, but I just like, because at least there's people that I like in this show, right? Like, most of the characters I like, right? There's a lot of characters I like. I like Galadriel. I like Elrond. The captain, from Numenor, like, he's great. There's a lot of characters for me to like in this show. It just feels disjointed, and that's the biggest issue that I have, and I'm hoping that the season finale brings it together. So that'll kind of decide overall how I feel about the season. But even leading to this point, if you're not a hardcore, but also if you're too hardcore, I feel like if you're too hardcore, then it's probably going to be pass. If you're not super hardcore, but you still like, I think it's a must see. I'm still gonna like. I still love watching it. So I feel like at this point, there's still more good than bad for me, and that's why I'm gonna give it a must see. So, but I'm teetering on like, dropping it to just worth checking out.
So now we're gonna go and move on to our shout out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our shout outs. Which is, we have Atticus. Atticus is back. He is a friend of mine that lives in Vietnam as a teacher in, I want to say, Lao Cai, if that's correct, if I'm pronouncing that correct or saying it right. He has earned the title of the Batman / Bruce Wayne. I mean, he's not loaded, so I don't know if that's Bruce Wayne necessarily, but the Batman of Lao Cai, because they had this torrential downpour over there, and like a lot of people died in it, and
river flooded.
He has donated money to people that he knew, and he was out there. He has footage where he's out there helping people, you know, in this flooding, like making sure that they can get like to their house and stuff and get to safety. Crazy, crazy stuff. And now he's part of it with the rebuilding and stuff. You can see that footage on it. It's so crazy to see like how beautiful it was before, and now it's just wrecked, and like, so you definitely got to check him out. Obviously, MK Wizard, I've been doing stuff with her, and you should check out her webcomic, and just all the stuff that she posts on social media is so great. I can totally get down with. And then we have Pesky Gremlins. They also do webcomics, so check them out. They're funny, cute stuff. We have the Semi-Skeptic Pod. They always help us out, as well as the Watch It If You Can podcast, and many more. They always help us out and stuff. So yeah, check them out. And then we also have our merch here. I am wearing my Rings of Power right here, what's a play on, right? The nerds. It's Talk Nerdy to Me, and then it says The Nerds of Power. I got my Batman shirt, tank top that I made here. It's the all-over print that says Talk Nerdy to Me in the Batman lettering with a bat symbol and stuff. So this is absolutely top-notch. This does not fade. The all-over print is the best stuff to get. It's a little more expensive, but it is definitely worth it because it does not fade. It's superb, and it's just better quality stuff.
And then I have a Halloween shirt.
Yes, we're going to be putting out Halloween merch for October, obviously, because it is Halloween month. So we're going to be rolling all that stuff out. So get this stuff while you can. Oh, also, hey, I forgot about this. I also have this, the White Power Ranger leggings, which is really top-notch, that Slay J made. And I also have these underwear, which is the Finish Me Mortal Kombat boxer briefs that look phenomenal. They are so great. They're so comfortable. They don't have a pee hole, but they are super comfortable and they're great. I feel like I'd even wear them as like swim trunks because they're like so thick and sturdy. But yeah, I love this stuff. It's so great. So definitely check it out on our store, TNTM, the store. That's where you can find it. Look it up. We do a charity every month. For September, it is suicide. It's for suicide prevention, right? And so I think we might actually have some money to donate because we did make some money off the merch this month. So we need to do the math and see if we can donate that stuff before the end of the month. For the new month, for October, it's going to be
Breast Cancer Foundation.
Yes, the National Breast Cancer Foundation charity, because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Save the tatas.
Save the women, but yes.
No, they
I know that's a slogan.
They've actually like made shirts that say "Save the tatas" that do raise money for breast cancer awareness.
So help us, help them by buying some of our merch and stuff like that. And everything you do helps. We've been climbing. We've been getting more and more likes on our Facebook. I think we might already be at 44K. It's crazy. We're going to do a giveaway at 50K. We're going to do a giveaway of comics, video games, graphic novels, merch. It's going to be a blast. Can't wait for that. And that one we'll be doing, obviously, on Facebook. And then once we hit 500 subscribers for YouTube, we're going to do a giveaway as well. We're inching there every day, every week, every month. That's it for us, right?
Yeah. Stay nerdy, planet Earth.
Talk nerdy to me.